Welcome to Meeple Podcast, Season 4.
Welcome to everybody, welcome to Meeple Podcast. Tonight, someone who didn't know I could invite him to this show. I usually ask my guest previously for an interview, however, with Nicolas Victor I did something different. I sent him the questions directly, without asking if he wanted to do it. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation to Meeple Podcast. My friend, how are you?
Buenos dias, Joaquin. My pleasure. How am I? Well, things have been rough lately. I've been pretty sick, and above that, I lost in the semi-finals of the Belgian Championship against Carl, aka 71 Knives. But I have a lot of fun stuff to look forward to, so things will be better soon.
What is a surprise for you to receive my questions without asking you first?
Kinda, but I'm honored, and I'm always happy to have a chat with you.
Carl Verheyen, BGA 71 Knives in the chapter 148 of the Sound Channel, Nico Willemans, BGA NW in chapter 171. Now, Nicolas Victor, JinaJina, episode 188. 3 Belgian players in the recent history of Meeple Podcast. What do you think about that?
I think that this shows how big and stable our little community is. You know, most of us already know each other for a while now, mainly through the Belgian Board Game Federation and the live tournaments they organize. And the fact that Belgium is a very small country is beneficial here, because wherever there is a tournament, it is never too far to be there. So whenever we participate in a tournament, there will always be the same familiar faces. But that said, I strongly believe that it is the online vibe, which came due to the corona pandemic, and especially the World Online Team Championship organized by our Catalonian friends, that brought us more together and created a strong, solid team, which is bigger now than the three of us. I also believe that our growth as a community evolved in a bigger participation on the international scene. And I have the feeling that people appreciate us being there.
Speaking of the WTCOC, tell us how you see the Belgian team.
Well, the strength of our team is growing, and we have a variety of strong players. What we still miss, in my opinion, is some stability in our results and just that touch extra to have a higher win percentage on close games. But I think we have the qualities to aim high, and the top 4 could or should be an achievable goal.
And what do you have to say about the last edition, the 2023 edition?
Okay, WTCOC 2023 was a touch disappointing, being only 6th in our group. But otherwise, I think we didn't do too bad. Only, we had some tough draws of opponents that prevented us to go that step further. Like on the European Team Championship in 2023. There we ended in a group with the 2 later finalists, Poland and RCP, and the always very strong Portugal. But I'm proud to say that we beat the RCP team in that group stage. In the World Team Championships of 22, we even won our strong group and reached the quarterfinals. But there we lost from China, in a game that was as close can be. And knowing that China would go on to the final and even win it next year, yeah, I can only say that I'm proud of my team and that we are a team to be accounted for and reckoned with.
What are the differences between a Belgian Carcassonne player and a player from other countries? Everyone plays Carcassonne according to the established rules, but is there a Belgian style? Is there something in common in your community that makes you stand out?
Good question. I don't think there is a typical Belgium style of playing. And if there is, please let us know. I think that we're all different players with a different kind of style. But I also think that we all learned from each other in the last couple of years. What I do know is that modesty is a typical Belgian character trait. And that we show that in any sport or other platform. We will never shout that we are the best or the greatest. And I also discovered that within our community. Yes, of course, we will fight each other till the deepest for any title. And there will be some good trash talking in the process. But in the end, we always gonna applaud for the one who did better and support the one who didn't. And importantly, we also mean it when we do so. I think that is something that defines us.
Why JinaJina?
More people already asked me about the origin of my online name. Short version? Simply translate my name. But I think you're more interested in the longer version. Well, here we go. My last name, Victor, is the easiest part to explain. Most people will know that it has a Latin origin and that it means conqueror, winner, or champion. Nicolas, then again, can be linked to the name Nikita and is of Slavic or Old Greek origin. And funny enough, there it means something like conqueror, winner, victory. So frankly, my first and last name mean the same. But where does Jina come from now, you ask? Well, while I was traveling in India a while ago, I got in touch with some Jain people. Jainism is a religious branch within the Indian culture. And there I discovered that the word Jain derives from the Sanskrit word Jina, which was used as a title by the Buddhas meaning victor or conqueror of senses.
A few weeks ago, the first duel of the Meeple Podcast Guest Challenge, Spreaders of the Game edition, started. What does this online event mean to you?
I was honored to be invited. And might I remind you that you invited 3 Belgian players? I think it shows that the work we do with our community is well respected. And I find it fantastic to go on dueling with friends or friends-to-be. I also love the tension of a good competition. It gives me energy. And between you and me, don't tell anyone. But I want a trophy.
Well, tell us the most important thing for you about the whole community of Carcassonne around the world.
Friendship, respect, and that we all can do something that we love doing together, no matter who you are or what background you have.
The most important thing, by your point of view, about the future of the Carcassonne game?
I think the game of Carcassonne is here to stay, just like Catan. But like everything, it will have his peaks and lows. We might be on a peak now, or not.
Do you like to play any other kind of board games?
Yeah, of course I do. I like playing all kinds of board or card games. From strategic brain breakers to quick and easy card games. All depends on the public, of course. Games that come very often to my table are Catan, Dominion, Take 5, Exploding Kittens, and many more. Wingspan, for example, seem to have become a new regular in my world.
Will we see Nicolas victory in Hern 2024?
Yeah, chances are high that you will see me there. Simply because I live very close. Like last year, I didn't qualify for the event, but still, I had a lot of fun finally meeting the people behind screen games. Will I participate in the World Championship? Well, I hope so, but Belgium is definitely a hard country to qualify for. First of all, Belgium has a wide range of very good players. Today, I think, you can easily sum up a dozen of players who are candidate for the title in my opinion. Second, our first rounds are a minefield, because they are played on a table of 4. On a table of 4 it's harder to play out your qualities, and you're more dependable on the quality of your opponents. That's why I prefer to have at least one better player on my table, who has a deeper understanding of the game. When being with 3 lesser players, without being disrespectful, chances are higher that their only goal is to focus on you, or they go backstabbing all over the place. And without knowing, or meaning to, they just kind of ruin your whole tournament. And after that, only the top 16 go to a 1 versus 1 knockout stage.
You have visited Essen before? You have been one of the players of the World Championship in Germany. Tell the audience when it happened and the experience you remember about it, please.
Although I didn't manage to qualify for the last 8, I think I had a pretty good tournament. In the primarily round, I only lost from later finalist Minwei Chen from Taiwan and the Romanian world champion Geri Arpat. My duel against Arpat even came down to a 50-50. He went all in, trying to overtake my field. He needed a curve for that and got it on the last tile. Who knows what could have happened if it was the other way around.
Let's talk about the BCOC. This year's edition has just ended recently with an incredible number of players, 36. Tell us about your journey.
Well, that one didn't end like I wished for. In the group stage, in a group of 9 players, I managed to win all of my duels. So I was automatically qualified for the quarterfinals. In these quarterfinals, I met Wannes van Sina, aka Karlsruhe 9 on BGA, and third on the World Championship a couple of years ago. I also took that win. But in the semifinals versus Carl, aka 71 Knives, I didn't find my best play. He had a furious start in the first game, but I did manage to get back in the game and even took over the lead, until a 50-50 went in his advantage. I took the tight second game, and in a splendid third game, I had to make a choice. One that unfortunately backfired to me. But there is no shame in losing from Carl. He really grew as a player, and in my opinion, he deserved to reach the final as well.
At the end, the champion was Carl, great player.
You know, Carl's a very good general player. If you would play any tournament in any game, he's always going to be up there as a potential winner. His Carcassonne play also evolved very strongly over the last year. That resulted in winning the live and online title back to back. And he broke through the 600 ELO wall for the first time now. After our game, he told me that he was more precarious with his meeples, because he noticed that in our previous games, his meeples got trapped very often. So he showed that he could adjust his playing style depending on his opponent or game situation. For that, he's a worthy champion.
Should there be a match between the Belgian champion in person and the Belgian champion online?
That's a very interesting idea. But would you play that duel live or online? And I think that duel somehow will be played anyway, because our best players both play live and online.
Traveling is one of your passions. Tell the audience about blogging and your experience around it.
Yes, it is. And being a tour guide, it's also part of my job. You know, I used to blog about my travels, but I discovered at some point that the blogging absorbed so much time and energy that it started to obstruct me enjoying my travels. So I really understand the time and effort that you're putting into all of this. And I have the greatest respect for it. Thank you for doing this.
Now it's time to talk about something you think could be interesting for all the listeners of Meeple Podcast. Feel free to talk about the topic you are interested in.
Let me think. You know, talking about traveling in the previous question, I think games and traveling work well together. It bonds people, and sometimes it brings fun stories. Like, when I was on a 35-day trek through the Himalayas, somewhere halfway, I found myself in a little tea house on a trail. We were there only with the 4 of us, me, a Dutch guy, and an American couple, when suddenly a Canadian couple showed up and asked if we knew Catan. Yeah, of course. You know, it was one of my favorite games at the time. And as it turned out, they created the game themselves by cutting playing cards, and the board was simply paper and pencil. There you are, somewhere nowhere, 5,000 meters altitude, and playing homemade Catan with people you don't know at all. How beautiful can a game be? These are memories for life.
Wow, awesome! Wow, I'd like to have an experience like that someday. Okay, Nicolas, 2 last questions. First, what does this title mean to you? Curiosities of the Week.
Well, you know, I love stats, oddities and fun facts. So it was really fun to do the research with like-minded people as Marco and Carrie, and to be able to share our findings with the community. But people also underestimate the amount of work that goes in there, especially when BGA started to restrict the amount of possible data recovery per day. I have an exclusive Meeple podcast curiosity for you guys. Did you know that Carrie, her IP address got banned from BGA for a while? Possibly because she was digging too deep in the data. Luckily that got solved when she explained the situation to them.
The second and last, you are the creator of Carcassonne Belgium website. You think the objective to make this web page has been achieved?
The main goal of the website was to gather all the data of the Belgian community in one place, and to have a platform where we easily could announce new tournaments. So I think we achieved that goal, yeah. And the fun things on it, they're extra.
Nicolas, thank you very much for accepting the invitation to Meeple Podcast.
My pleasure. I'm always happy to talk about board games.
See you to the audience. Thanks for being there. To be continued.